Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Janmadhyasya yato anvayaditaratas Chartha subhijya swarat Tene brahma hridaya adikavaye Muhyanti yat surayah Tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo Yatra trisargo mrisha Dhamna svena sada nirastakuhakam Satyam param dhimahi Narayanam namaskritya Naran chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jayamudирayet Swasti astu vishvasya khalaha prasidatam Dhyayantu bhutani shivam mitho dhiya Manascha bhadram vajatadadhokshaje Avishyatam no matirapyahituki. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 22, beginning from verse number 1. In the previous chapter we studied the song of flute, Venu Gita, and now in this he is going to talk about one of the most controversial Leela of Krishna, that is Chirharan. So Sri Shuka Goswami said, Hemante prathame masi Nanda Braja Kumarikaha Cherur Havishyam Bhunjana Katyayanyarchanna Vratam. In the first month of Hemanta, that is beginning of winter, or right after Kartik, the first month, which is called Margshirsha, comes after Kartik, it's called Agrahana. That used to be the first month of the year before, originally. So in that month, the Nanda Vraj Kumarika, the young maidens of Vraja of Nanda, they observed the Katyayani Archana Vrata, or Vrata of worship of Katyayani Devi, while eating only on Havishya, like food which is used by the sages. So this is a vrata which young girls perform for 1 month, for whole month of Kartik, which usually comes in November, to get a good husband. That's important, right? If you don't have a good husband, it can be quite hellish, problematic. So it is better to sacrifice 1 month, do little tapasya. So tapsa kim na siddhyati, can attain anything by tapasya. So these days girls don't do this. So then they have problem in getting good husband. This is the proof. So Sarartha Darshini, Tika of Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, Dvavinshe Chandika Puja Gopi Bhir Vasasam Hriti Sanlapo Varadanantu Stuti Krishnena Kirtyate. So in this 22nd chapter, there is a description of the worship of Katyayani by the gopis, means the young girls. It will also describe stealing of their dresses by Krishna and then a dialogue between Krishna and the girls, and then blessing by Krishna and also their praise, because he was very satisfied with their behavior. So that's what is described in this chapter. It is a very important chapter and very difficult to digest and accommodate it. So Vyudhanam Sharadi Krishnanuragam Varnitva Anudhanam api Gopinam Tam Anuvarnayans Tasham Nitya Siddha Krishna Prayasi Bhavanam api Krishna Prapti Kamnaya Lokaritya eva Hemante Devi Puja Maha Hemante. So in the previous chapter there was a description of the Sarat Ritu, the fall season, and there the description was of the married gopis. Those gopis who were singing the song, that Venu Gita, that was sung by the married gopis. That's why they were saying, we are not so fortunate, we cannot go, our husbands are not so liberal. Look at these does, their husbands, Krishna Sara, they are happily there, and the ocean is not objecting about the rivers, embracing Krishna and worshipping. All that they were saying. So those were the Vyudha gopis, or those who are married. And now here he is going to describe the pastime of the Anudha gopis, or who are unmarried. And although they have Nitya Siddha Krishna they are Nitya Siddha Krishna Prayasi. They are eternal, perfected beloveds of Krishna, and therefore they have eternal prema for him. Still, as the Rāsa-līlā, because this is human-like pastime of Krishna, so they are also following the Lokariti, the social custom. So this is a custom in Vrindavan and all this North India, that the young girls in this 1 month, they get up early morning before sunrise and they go and take bath either in a pond or a river nearby. If nothing is there, then on a well in the olden days, and then worship Durga, Katyayani. So this was the custom, and this is performed only by unmarried girls. So Hemanta iti Prathame Margshirshe. So first month, that is called Margshirsha. Tasam Krishna Kantanam Bhed Dvayamidam Sri Harivamsa Purana Brahma Puranadau api Drishtam. So these two divisions of gopis who are beloveds of Krishna, Krishna Kantas, so they are described in Harivamsa Purana, also in Vishnu Purana and Brahma Purana. So there also it is described that there are two groups of these, as this is a statement. Yuvatir Gopa Kanyascha Ratrau Sankalya Kalavit Ityadi. So there are two words used here. Yuvati means the young, the mature ones, and Gop Kanya. Kanya means unmarried, spinster. So these are small girls, and Yuvati means grown up. So these grown ups are married, because girls, they get married when they are 15, 16. So Ratrau Sankalya Kalavit, Krishna, who is the knower of proper time, he invited them by playing the flute. So this is a verse speaking about when Krishna played the flute and all the gopis came, and then he had Rāsa-līlā with them. So in Rāsa-līlā both types of gopis were there. There were the married ones and unmarried ones. So all these gopis like Radha, Lalita, Vishakha, Chandravali, they are all married in Braj. They all have, and then there are others. So there are no names which are mentioned of these other gopis. The names which you find in some other Puranas, they are all married ones. So Krishna, of course, when he did this, he was only 7-year-old, because after that he is going to lift Govardhan, and there it is said that he was 7-year-old. Kva sapta hayano bala kva mahadri avdharanam. That this young boy of 7-year-old, he lifted Govardhan for 7 days on his finger. So therefore he was just 7-year-old, because Govardhan was lifted actually just before this. Govardhan lifting is done, if you take it chronically, then he will do it next year. That means he is only 6-year-old now. And if you say that he already did it, because this has happened in Kartik, and this Leela is happening afterwards, so he must be 6 years old. 6 years and few months, because he was born in Bhadrapad, then Bhadra, Ashwin, Kartik, and this is Margshirsha. So basically Krishna was 6 years and 3 months old when he did this first time. So they are called here as Kumaris and Kumara. Kumara and the word Kumari, they are used for male young boy as Kumar. So like 5 onwards. So actually that is called Paganda, and it is before that. Kumar is even before that. There is Bala and Kumar and Paganda and Jiva. So Kumar, the word Kumar actually means Kutsito Maro. Yes, Mat. So Mara means Cupid. And Kutsita means, here it means ineffective. Means Cupid cannot have any effect on them, because they are not mature yet. Young boy and girl, they are not disturbed by Cupid yet. So that's what the word Kumara and Kumari mean. So that also signifies that they were very young. So aplutyambasi kalindya jalante chodite rune kritva pratikritim devim anarcho nripasaikatim gandhai malyai surbibhir balibhir dhupadipakaihi uccavachaischa upaharer pavala palatandulaihi. So these 2 slokas, it describes how they were observing this vrata. So aplutya ambasi kalindya. So first they will go and take a dip in Yamuna river in the cold. And then jalante cha udite arune. And then when it is aruna, means dawn before sunrise, then on the bank of Yamuna they will make an image of Devi. So Devi pratikritim kritva anarchur nipasakatim. So they will make a pratikriti made from the sand. So there are 8 types of forms which are described in Bhāgavatam. Sali, Darumai, Lohi, Lepya, Lekha, cha Sakati, Manomai, Manimai, Pratima, Ashtadhavidha, Ashtavidha Smrita. So 8 types. So first is Shaili, made from stone. Darumai, wood, like Daru Brahman, Jagannath Puri. And Lohi, made of dhatu, metal, Ashtadhatu or gold, brass, silver, whatever. And lepya is like you just take some liquid and make drawing, and lekhya is painting, and sakti is from sand or mud. It's very popular in Bengal. Nothing they make and it is. And then manomai is mental image, and manimai made from gems. So therefore they are making their what they are doing is not something Vedic, it is prescribed. Sakti. Sakti means from the sand or mud. So Saktim pratikritim kritva devim anarchu. So anarchu, now you know. Archa dhatu pujayam. Right? So arch plus us. And then naradayaramasya trivikrama. Tasmad nut divishnujana dhatu. So arch, 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 nut arch, and us anarchu. So means they worshipped. See, it's useful to know Harinama Tyakaram. So kritva pratikritim devim anarchur nripa sakatim. So they worshipped. How did they worship? So these are the various articles they used. Sodasopchar, 16 things. So some of them are mentioned. Gandha is fragrance, like sandalwood. Malya is garland. Surbhibhi is also fragrant articles, maybe fragrant water. Balibhi, offering. Dhupa is incense. Deepaka is lamp. And Uchavacha is Chaupahara. And then make offering of high and low types. Ucha means good type. Vacha means low type. Means according to their means, whatever was possible. And Pravala Phala Tandulai. Also leaves, maybe like tulsi leaves, fruits, whatever local fruits grow here in that season. So, and Tandula is rice. So these things they will offer in their worship. So Bali means offerings. What were they? Vastra, Abhushana, Naivedyadi, Upchari. So means offering dress, ornaments, and something to eat. So they did all this worship. And then they will chant this mantra. So this is a mantra if somebody wants a good husband. This is a perfected mantra. Only thing is that you have to change the name. Here they are asking for Nanda Gop Sutam. You have to put the name whomever you want as your husband. So you have to be very specific. It's not a general mantra. It is a specific mantra whom you want. And Margshirsa is coming after 2 months. So anybody interested? So the mantra goes like this. Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayogin Nandagopasutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha Iti mantram japantyastam pujam chakruhu kumarika. So these kumarikas, kumarika means also even very small, because kan pratyan is applied in alpa arthe. Means they were very, very young, maybe just 4 or 5 year old, not more than that. So pujam chakru, they did worship while chanting this mantra. So they also did japa. So japa retreat coming. So mantram japantya stam pujam chakru. So what was the mantra? It says Katyayani Mahamaya. O Katyayani, O Mahamaya. Mahayogini, O Mahayogini. Adhishwari. These are all names. And then Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi Patim me kuru. So please make the son of Nanda Gopa, cowherd Nanda, as my husband. I bow down to you, Te Namah. So, straightforward, Sakam Bhakti. But this type of Sakam Bhakti is good because they want Krishna as their husband. So, it is not that Sakam is always bad. Generally, Sakam Bhakti is considered as inferior, but here it is the best. So, He Katyayani, Nanda Gopa Sutam Patim Me Kuru. So, O Katyayani Devi, please make the son of Nanda my husband. So, the Kri Dhatu is used. Right? So, Kuru is Madhyam Purush, Ekvachan. This is, which Gana is this? Dukriya. Tadadi. Tanadi. Tanadi Sapashnu. Right? So, Asayogat Purva. U. Yeah, it is. Yatanadi Shapa U. So, Kri and U and He. So, Nanu Kuru iti anena Mayeva Kimiti Tatra Swatantra Marpate. So, now the word which is used here is Kuru, means do, means make. Make Krishna as my husband. So then Katyayani Devi is saying, how is that possible? You are giving this freedom to me, but that cannot happen because you have your parents. The young girls cannot marry somebody without parents' permission. So if she says, okay, you make Krishna as my husband, means I give you Krishna and he is your husband, then what your parents will say? So therefore, she's saying that, how is that you are giving this much authority to me? Swatantram means freedom, means I am free to do this. Aham tu tadartham tvat pitrau prarishyami matram tasmat karya iti dehi iti va prajyatam. So he says, you should say that please inspire our parents to marry us to Krishna. That is a proper prayer. Because when you pray, you should be very clear what you want. If you make mistake, then you have to repent later on. So when you make any prayer, you should deliberate on the meaning of what you are saying. Not that later on you say, oh, I didn't mean this. Because one who is listening it probably understands language better than you. So he or she knows Sanskrit grammar, so knows the meaning. So you have to have proper prayer. Otherwise you can be in trouble. So he says that you should pray to me that I should inspire your parents so that they start feeling, oh, I have to marry my daughter, I should marry my daughter to Krishna. So he says, I can inspire them. You should pray like this. Or you should say, give me Krishna as the husband, not make him. Make him means like you marry. That is like if I am the priest or priestess. So iti ashankya savaikalya maha he mahayogini. So then the gopis are saying that when they thought that maybe she will think like this, then becoming immediately attentive to this, they said, Mahayogini, that you are Mahayogini. So what does Mahayogini means? Who makes the yoga? Like these days they have this marriage.com. So the matchmakers. And they are called Ghataka. What do you call in Odisha? जो मैरिज देखते हैं ना, कुंडली कुंडली मिलान करते हैं नहीं करते हैं, मैच द हॉरोस्कोप, ज्योतिष. So they are also called Ghataka. So he says you are the yogini. So yoga is not that she is doing some asana and pranayam. She is yogini, means she is making matches. That is the union, right? And you are Mahayogini. You are the best of that. You have a marriage.com. No, match.com. What do you call that? Match.com? Shadi.com in India. Shadi is called marriage. Because they say in English that, what is that? The matches are made in heaven? Marriages are made in heaven or matches are made? Some saying in English like that. So therefore she is in heaven. Therefore she is called Mahayogini. Tena sanyogas tvaya eva sigram sampadyo. So therefore, not only that you make match, but you make marriage. It's not that you just suggest. So you should do this quickly. Natu pitradi vyavdhanena upadravena. He says, don't bring parents into the picture. If parents come into picture, there is going to be a lot of disturbance. They will say, no, why him? Why not here nearby? I am already thinking of this boy for you. So there can be so many problems. So don't involve them. That's why we are saying Kuru. Because you are Mahayogini. Param utkanthavati bhi rasmabhi kal vilambasya asahiyatvat. Says we are very, very eager to have Krishna as our husband, and we cannot tolerate any delay in it. You are going to inspire our parents, then in the morning they will get up and say, oh, then they may forget after 1 hour. Then you may also forget to inspire them. And then nothing will happen. So we don't want all this. Krishnasya samprati anupnitatvena vivaha ayogyatvat. Then she says that, what are you talking? Krishna has not undergone the sacred thread ceremony. So he cannot marry, because to marry you have to have sacred thread. Without that you cannot marry in India. Means sacred thread means you have undergone Gayatri Diksha, you have been to Gurukula, you have done Samavartan Samskar, then you are qualified for marriage. Krishna has not done any of these things. So how you are saying marry, give me Krishna as my husband, make him my husband. How can I do that? So then they are saying, all right, if that is not possible, then make him a Devi Pati. So one is that Devi is an address that, O Devi, O Goddess, give son of Nanda Maharaj as my husband, or make him as my husband. Other is that you take this Devi and Pati as one word. So we want not normal type of husband, but a Devi Pati, a Devi type of husband. Devi means playing, playful. Because Devu Dhatu has so many meanings, right? Krida, Vijagisa, all this. There are about 10 or 12 meanings of Devu Dhatu. So one of them is Krida, Devu Kridayam. So we want a play husband, not a real husband, that we have to make chapati and breakfast and this and that. No, just for playing. And for that, no, this thread is needed. So therefore it says, Hey Devi, Mukhyam Vivaham Vinayeva, Keval Gandharva Vivahenaiva, me patim kuru. So therefore, without proper marriage, just do Gandharva Vivaha. So there are, according to Manusmriti, there are 8 types of marriages prescribed. There is a Arsha marriage, then there is there is a Brahma marriage, there is a Arsh marriage, then there is a Daiva marriage, there is a Prajapatya marriage, then there is a Gandharva marriage, then there is Asura marriage, then Rakshasa marriage, and Paishach marriage. So there are 8 types of marriages. So generally first 4 are the normal types and last 4 are abnormal types. So among the last 4, the first one is Gandharva Vivaha, which basically means love marriage. So love marriage is not some invention of the West. It is there in Manusmriti also. So he says that we will do Gandharva Vivaha. We will do love marriage. So love marriage means you don't have to make fire sacrifice, this, that, nothing. Miyan Bibi Raji, kya karega Kaji. So if the boy and girl, they like each other, then what priest is going to do in that? Because marriage means that two people, their hearts are one together. Then what chanting mantra will do, what fire sacrifice will do. So therefore Gandharva Vivaha says that is the best. Hassle free. No need of giving a feast and music and jumping, dancing, all this. Simple. So therefore he says that without the primary Mukhyam Vivaha, the general type of Vivaha marriage which you know, which is generally Prajapatya or Brahma. So without that, Keval Gandharva Vivaha Naiva me Patim Kuru. So please just make him as our Gandharvapati. So husband of love. How can I do it? He says Adhishwari iti tatra tav kimapi ashakyam nasti. You are Adhishwari. Mahayogini Adhishwari. Adhishwari means same as Ishwari. Ishwara means you are the supreme boss. Can do anything. You have power. Nanu tava Krishna pati bhavasya tat pitribhyam agyatatve tvad Krishnang Sangha Katham Sadhu Setsyati Itiyaha Mahamaya. So now she says that you want to have Krishna as your husband, you want to have Gandharva Vivaha, and you don't want that your parents come to know about it. Pitribhyam agatatve. So this is your desire. But how is it proper according to the dharma that you will have union with Krishna without your parents knowing, without going the proper marriage ceremony, etc. So then she says, well, you are Mahamaya. Mahamaya. Maya matpitrau tatha mohaya yatha kadachidapi gopantrene mad vivaha stabhyam ne bhavyate. So he says that you spread your Maya in such a way that our parents will never know anything about it, that we got married to Krishna. So no other Gopa will know it, so they will not know. Madvivaha stabhyam ne bhavyate. Krishnang sanga rahasyam cha na cha gyatum shakyate iti. And that we are having union with Krishna, this will also not be known by anybody. So no one will know, we will just have secret relationship with Krishna. Parents will not know and no one else will come to know. So therefore there is nothing wrong with it. Or Yadva, now he brings that Devi meaning, that if you don't want this, then at least do this. Divyati Kridati. So Devadasha Pashya, so Devadigan. So Divyati, right? Dhator Rav, Dhato Prag, Ravta Vishnu Jana, what is that? No. Dhato. Iduto Strivikrama Rauta Vishnu Jane na Kurchurnam Dhatunam Nachatadhyati. So therefore it becomes Divyati. So Divyati means, so from Div Dhatu only the word Devi has come. So Divyati means Kridati, one who plays, and Devayati, and also makes us play. Means he will play with us and he will also make us play with him. So that is the type of husband we want. So ya va Devi sacha asau patischaiti. So that is the type of husband we want, not the normal type. Tadrish patitvam vivaham vinayeva siddhyati. And that kind of husbandship is possible without the marriage ceremony. We don't, it's not needed. Mama gopantar vyudhatve api na kapi kshatiriti bhava. And therefore if our parents don't know this, and when we grow, become young, then our parents will marry us to another boy, then there is no problem. So we'll have another husband and we'll have two husbands. One will be like picnic husband and one will be the household husband. So for normal social dealings we have one husband. For relishing pastime, enjoying picnic in the forest, we have another husband. So that's what we want. So ityevam pratekam mantrartha prithak prithak vichintya ityartha. So he says that in this way, every gopi is having their own meaning of this mantra. Some are having the other meaning, some are having this meaning. Because when you chant the mantra, what meaning you have, that is only you know. So, iyam tabhir upasita chit shakti vritti swarup bhuta yog maya eva natu bahiranga maya. Now, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur makes it very clear that this form of Durga or Katyayani, which gopis worshipped, this is not this Durga of the material world. This is the spiritual Durga of the spiritual world. It has the same name, same appearance, but a different personality. So this is, he says that the Devi, which was worshipped by them, is personification of Chit Shakti. She is not material, she does not have material form. And Swarup Bhuta, that is the essential nature. And Yog Maya eva. She is Yoga Maya, not Mahamaya, not this Bahiranga. So Natu Bahiranga Maya. Although she is called here as Mahamaya, but she is actually Yoga Maya. Yaduktam Narada Pancharatre Shruti Vidya Samvade. As this is stated in Narada Pancharatra, between a dialogue between Shruti, the Vedas, and Vidya, the Vidya Devi personified. Janati eka apara kantam saiva durga tadatmika ya para parama shaktir mahavishnu swarupani yasya vijnana matrena paranam paramatmanah muhurtad deva devasya praptir bhavati nanyatha ekayam prema sarvasva svabhava gokuleshwari Aniyasul Bhojeya Adi Devo Khileshwara. So he says that Janati Eka Apara Kantam. So the other one, the chief one, knows the Kanta or beloved and knows that Saiva Durga, that she is Durga, Tadatmika, and is devoted or is personification or a form or expansion of Krishna. Ya Para Parama Shakti. She is Para, transcendental, and the supreme potency, Mahavishnu Swarupani. She is having the Swarupa of Mahavishnu. And Yasya Vijnana Matrena Paranam Paramatmana Muhurtad Dev Devasya Praptir Bhavati Nanyata. Just by having experience of her or realizing her, then one who is Paranam Paramatmana, who is the supreme being of the transcendental devotees or personalities, then one can attain him very quickly in one Muhurta, who is called Deva Deva, and not by any other way. Ekayam Prema Sarvasva Subhava. She is one and her nature is supreme Prema, and she is Gokuleshwari. She is the Ishwari of Gokula. Anya Sulbhojaya Adi Devo Akhileshwara. So through her it is very easy to attain that supreme master Akhileshwara, the worshipable Krishna. So therefore this Katyayani is in a way non-different from Krishna, and she is in charge of Gokula. Asya avarika shaktir mahamaya akhileshwari yaya mugdham jagat sarvam sarve deha abhimanina. And an expansion of this Katyayani is the Mahamaya which functions here in this material world, which is avarika or a covering potency, avarika shakti. She is the covering potency, and she is called Mahamaya and also called Akhileshwari. The names are same basically. And Yaya Mugdham Jagat Sarvam Sarve Deha Abhimanini. And by her the whole world is bewildered. All people who identify with their body, they are bewildered by her. So this is from Narada Pancharatra.
We have here 3 more lines. Do you also have them? Bhaktir Bhajana Sampati? Do you also have these? Bhaktir Bhajana Sampati Bhajati Prakriti Priyam? No?
No, I don't have. 3 lines? Not in this one. अतः सर्वेषु कृष्ण मंत्रेषु दुर्गाधिष्ठात्री देवता इति आगमे शुद्ध सत्वरूपा चित् शक्ति वृत्ति कृष्ण भगिनी एकानशा अभिधाना योग माया एव मंत्र अधिष्ठात्री. So therefore it is stated in the Agam Shastra that the Adhishthatri Devata of all mantras related to Krishna is Durga. And this Durga is not the Durga which is known here. She is Shuddha Sattva Rupa. She is pure Sattva, that Shuddha Sattva of the spiritual world. And Chit Shakti Vritti. She is a manifestation of the Chit potency of Krishna. And she is sister of Krishna. So therefore sometimes Subhadra is also called as Yoga Maya. So Krishna Bhagni, and one of her name is Ekanamasha. So that is one of her name. Yoga Maya, so called Yoga Maya. And Mantra Adhishthatri. So she is the Adhishthatri, presiding deity of the mantras related to Krishna. Saiva Khalu Abhirupasita. So it is she alone who was worshipped by these gopis and none, not the Durga of this world. Durga Mahamaya ityadi namadi samyanaiva lokanam brahmo bhavati again. But because she also has these same names as Durga, Mahamaya, Yogini, etc. So then people get into this illusion that they worshipped this Durga. But it is not true, as is understood from Narada Pancharatra as well as from the Agam Shastra. Vrajasya lokaval lilatvan mayopasne api nadosha. But because this is pastime like human beings, this is Nar-Līlā of Krishna. So if you think that they worshipped this Durga, then also there is nothing wrong because this is just their human Leela. But truly speaking, they worshipped the spiritual Katyayani. अत्र केचिद् अनन्यमन्या यदन्यथा मन्यन्ते न ते तदीय प्रेम गंध संबंध गंधावहमपि स्पृशन्ति इति श्री वैष्णव तोषणी. So now he cites one statement from Vaishnav Toshni of Sanatana Goswami. He says that there are some people who call themselves as Ananya Bhakta. So they don't accept this pastime, and then they give some other explanation. What kind of explanation they give, it is not described here. So he says that these people do not have even a little smell of the love of the gopis. That what kind of love these gopis have Krishna. So Ananya Manya here basically means there are some who think that these gopis, they were married to Krishna only. Even Radha, Lalita, Vishakha, not to anyone else. So then he says that means those who do not accept Parkiya. So they say that they do not understand what is true prema. एवं मासं व्रतं चेरुः कुमार्य कृष्ण चेत सह भद्रकालीं समानर्चु भूयानंद सुतः पतिम. So in this way, for 1 month, they observed this vrata, these kumaris, these young girls, while being fixed on Krishna, their mind being fixed on Krishna. So they worshipped Bhadrakali, that is another name of Durga. So Samanarchur Bhuyat Nanda Sutapati. So they worshipped, and what was their prayer? That Nanda Sutaha Patihi Bhuyat. That son of Nanda Maharaj may be our husband. So this is how they worshipped. So Nanda Sutaha Patir Bhuyat iti Sankalpa iti Shesha. So when you do some puja, worship, especially if you are doing it sakam, means with some specific wish to fulfill, then you have to make a sankalpa in the beginning before you start. So that's why they tie the thread on the wrist. You have seen that? That thread is called Sankalpa Sutra. Means the Sankalpa thread. And when the priest ties the thread, he will give you a flower with sandalwood. You have to hold it in your hand and maybe put some dakshina in there. And then when he ties, then he will recite the sankalpa, the priest, that I so and so. He will speak Bharatvarse Jambudvipe, Bharatvarse Revakhande, all this year, this day, this time, this Muhurta, I so and so, I do this puja for this purpose. So you have to recite that, and then the puja or the anushthan or the ritual begins. So here in this, he says that this is the sankalpa which they were making before the puja. Sankalpa was Nanda Sutta Pati Bhuyat. So there is not much commentary on these slokas. fact there is nothing. So Ushashi Uthaya Gotrai Svairanyonyabadha Bhavah Krishna Muchair Jaguryante Kalindyam Snatumanvaham Nadya Kadachidagatya Tire Nikshipya Purvat Vasam Sri Krishnam Gayanto Vijrahu Salile Muda. So they will wake up early in the morning and then they will call each other by their names. That come out, let's go, it's time. And then holding hand with each other while loudly singing about Krishna. So Chair Jagur, Yamte, they went to Yamuna river and took bath. So this was their daily routine for 1 month. And Nadya Kadachit Agatya Tire Nikshipya Purvat Vasan Sri Krishnam Gayanto Vijrahu Salalemana. So going to the now this one specific day he describes. One specific day they came to the bank of the river and like every day they threw their clothes on the bank and while singing about Krishna they went inside the water. So basically they will undress and enter into the river naked because they were very young. In the olden days I have seen in also our childhood, people were not dressed like they are dressed these days. Now 6-month-old babies also dressed. So in the villages people, small children, they will just run around naked. There was nothing unusual about it. Girls, boys, especially when it is hot season. Winter, of course, it's cold. So it is not unusual to go inside a lake or a river just naked, and children used to just jump in the canal just naked. So they also did that. And they were playing, and it was also early morning, so it is also dark because by the time November comes, sun does not rise that early. It rises after 7 o'clock. So it's dark anyway, there is nobody there. So they did not have any, inhibition that some man will come here that early. Everybody is in the village taking care of the cows. So now from the next sloka onwards, he will describe what Krishna did. From that we'll read tomorrow if there is any question on this.
Like so many girls together desire by the same mantra the same person. I mean, they don't know that Krishna will expand for each of them. So
because they also don't know so much. They are small.
Bhagaji, when this contacted that lady girl in the pagan, so was she also the same Durga like this Katyani?
Yes.
I would be curious if there's also a tradition that boys would do something to get a good match also.
No.
But then
There is no mantra for that. But Bhāgavatam says in the second canto, second chapter, I think it is second chapter, if I'm not wrong, or third. second or third chapter, there's a big list where it says akama, afterwards akamo sarva kamava moksha kamo dharati. There he says that if you want a good wife, you worship Urvashi, I think. Yeah. Stri kama to Urvashi. If you want a good wife, then you worship Urvashi. Yeah. Either is it Urvashi or Parvati, one of them. But I think it was Urvashi. So there is something for men also. But not in Bhāgavatam. Yeah. The process is not given.
So Bhagaji, nowadays these girls are giving this sombar like one day fasting to Shivji to get a good husband. So this is some different tradition? Because most of them they do Sola Sombar or something like that.
Yeah, this must be different. I am not aware of that. But this I remember in the village, the girls used to get up in the morning and they are singing and going to the temple and doing puja to Parvati there. Yes.
Bhagaji, for me it's difficult to understand how the picnic husband can be called still husband. It sounds more like, doesn't sound like a husband, but more an affair or a free relationship.
You mean Gandharva Vivaha or the way he is interpreting Devi Patim? One is Gandharva Vivaha, that is love marriage. So that is like Krishna did. Actually, what Krishna did is a mixture of Gandharva and Rakshas, Rukmani. So kidnapping a girl, so Rukmani is in love with him, so that is a Gandharva, means he accepted. He says, I accept you as my husband. But then he goes and kidnaps, that is Rakshas, and afterwards he marries. So normal way, marriage was done. So Rakshasa means when you go, you fight, you kidnap. That is called Rakshasa.
I think, it seems, more the other one when you were saying about the one is the, let's say, for the household and one is for the enjoyment.
Yeah, just like Radha is also married, but she is going with Krishna. So Krishna is Devi Pati, means lover.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what I.
Yeah. So that is what Parkiya is. What does Parkiya mean? Parkiya means you are not married.
But why is it then said husband? Is it just the translation then?
Just because the word is there, Devi Patim.
Devi Pati, then the Pati is husband, and then so it's the translation which makes it.
Playing with the word Devi. Devi is there, oh Devi. Make Nanda Gop Sutam Devi Patim Me Kuru Te Nama. So one way of seeing is, normal way of seeing is that, oh Devi, make son of Nanda Maharaj my husband. And then he plays with the word Devi and he makes Devi Pati as one word. And then he says it comes from root Deva, which means to play. So he's a play husband.
Okay, that's...
And just commented.
Babaji, I have a question. In the beginning you mentioned that the gopis were not yet troubled by lust and by karma days. And of course it's the transcendental karma days, but still, in the previous chapter, which is chronologically earlier, in the Venu Gita, they display some signs of asuya, and they speak about how they are longing and burning. So it seems that they were troubled by karma days at that time.
But these are separate gopis. Those who are married ones and these are young ones.
I see. Also,
The one in the previous chapter are the grown-up ones.
I see.
That's why they're saying our husband are not like this and like that.
And these are younger than the unmarried, I believe.
Yeah, this vrata is done by unmarried one only.
Yeah.
This Katyayani vrata is not done by married ones.
Yeah.
For married ones, there is another fast. That is called Karva Chauth. Okay.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes.
So the whole point here was that they would get husband, Krishna is their husband. Then when Chakravarti Prabhupada explains this idea that okay, we can just have a plain husband and then later on it's okay if we get married off. It seems counterproductive to what they want.
It seems what?
It seems out of character for them. Why would they be satisfied with another husband? They would want Krishna as their husband because that's why they get the brother.
Yeah.
So
that is the commentator commenting like that. Their prayer is we want Krishna as the husband. They are not saying we will have another one. Otherwise, why they are doing vrata? Their prayer is that Nanda Gop Sutah Pati Bhuyat. That is their sankalpa. So they are not thinking of another husband.